Hello, everyone. My name is Fiza Khan, CEO and founder of Silver Regulatory Associate. I am very happy to announce that we have launched our cyber compliance services here at Silver. And to get more information about this, I am joined by my colleagues, Nick Nunez, Chief Administrative Officer and Managing Director of the Regulatory Compliance Line, and the latest addition to our team, Mike Regan, Cybersecurity Compliance Director. Both of them, along with myself, will hopefully give you some insight into why you need to be thinking about cyber compliance and how hopefully Silver can help you with that endeavor. So, welcome aboard, Mike.
Yeah,
Really good to have you be a part of the Silver team.
yes, this year.
And one thing that I am curious about, and I think our viewers would like to know, is a little bit more about you. Tell us more about your background and your experience and what led you into the cybersecurity space.
Yeah, for sure. So past 10 years, I've worked in the IT and cybersecurity space, doing multiple roles, managing client service teams, account management. I've done a little bit of everything. So yeah, I've been doing that for about the past 10 years. I've lived in London, helped kind of set up an office there, last spot I was at. So have a bit of familiarity with that territory as well. And then EMEA and APAC as well. So and I've also lived in Florida, so I've kind of moved around a bit over the past few years, managing clients in different regions. So, but cybersecurity has been my focus for the last 5 years, something that I've really grown accustomed to and really grown to love, honestly.
That's great. Yeah.
And we've been fielding cyber compliance related questions for the past 7 years since we started. We're always helping our clients develop their compliance program. And as part of that, we had to touch on cybersecurity. So this is why it was so exciting when we found an expert in Mike to be able to help our clients develop their cyber compliance programs. Additionally, conduct cyber compliance training and also conduct annual risk assessments, among other things.
Yeah, and there's so much crossover between the regulatory compliance world and the cyber compliance world. So, assisting organizations with policies and procedures, whether you're starting from scratch or you're updating and maintaining an existing program, like you mentioned, conducting cyber risk assessments, user training, which is incredibly important, running those phishing simulations as well, with the increase of AI and all these other sorts of threat vectors that are out there too. So, and then another big priority, which the SEC mentioned this year as well, third-party vendor due diligence has come to the forefront too. So kind of helping on all those areas.
And we've seen firsthand in supporting our clients through SEC exams that exam staff is looking at the cybersecurity program and they're expecting the chief compliance officer to really have full oversight over the cyber compliance program.
Yeah, 100%. And I think as you're kind of going through your policies and procedures for the year, doing at least an annual review, they want to see a living, breathing kind of document, that there's ownership internally in terms of the organization, who's responsible for what, especially from a cyber perspective. Again, on the SEC exam priorities, incident response is a big topic as it, comes to the forefront with AI and all these deepfakes and all other types of threat vectors that are out there with emerging technologies, ensuring that your incident response procedures are in place, that teams are ready to go. It's and when, and knock on wood, it doesn't happen, but if a breach does occur.
Absolutely. And that incident response plan is also important because the amended Reg SP mandate that we will have to have a more formal incident response plan.
I am curious, on behalf of our clients and our viewers, are there any specific strategies that you think should be more mindful of cyber compliance initiatives, or do you think this effort is strategy agnostic?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of different ways to look at it. I mean, I think the way that we're looking at it for our clients is, one size doesn't fit all. We want to have a more tailored approach to cyber. Looking into each of our clients' programs, ensuring that it's tailored to best fit their needs, that it's practical, but it also is compliant from a regulatory perspective. So, I think it's tough to take that one size fits all approach. I think having that more tailored, structured approach in terms of what we're doing is that way more important.
Terrific. And is there any specific area within cybersecurity or cyber compliance that you think that we should be focusing on, our clients should be focusing on? You touched on a few areas, but can you dive a little bit deeper for us and maybe talk about those areas that you think require that level of focus?
Yeah, for sure. I think the first one is probably on the cyber risk assessment front. you don't know what you don't know in terms of your cyber program. So conducting those assessments, understanding what your risks are to the business, highlighting those, prioritizing those, ranking those from a risk rating perspective is incredibly important. And allowing that risk assessment to be a living, breathing document as well. It's not a set it and forget it type of thing. You don't just do it today and then tomorrow you forget about it. It's something that needs to be worked on kind of over time. And then additionally, you mentioned before about the third-party vendor due diligence, with the amount of breaches that are occurring to third-party vendors, how much data these vendors do have access to for your organization. It's incredibly important to understand again as well, what is the risk to your business if that vendor does, suffer a breach? Is it a total catastrophe? Is your business going to be shut down? Or can you continue on business as usual? So again, ranking those vendors from a priority level, just in terms of, the amount of data they have access to, is incredibly important as well.
That's super helpful. One other point that I think might be interesting for us to hear from you is, where do you think cybersecurity ranks in terms of importance as it relates to other compliance initiatives? Not to put you on the spot, but
Number one, of course.
yes, but I think just given, as we know, there is a proposal that is out there. It has yet to be finalized, but as Nick pointed out, it is something that is popping up in the course of SEC SAM. So how should our clients, our viewers, think about this particular initiative as it pertains to the overall constructs of their program, their compliance program?
Yeah, it definitely should be front of mind. Obviously, there's a lot of other things that are going on for your organization on the compliance front, but I think cyber is definitely something that should be at the forefront. Again, when the SEC announced their exam priorities last year, highlighting, policies and procedures, who's owning cyber internally, your instant response, again, not to hammer that one home, but that one is popping up, and we've seen it with a few of our clients, throughout their exams as well this year. So the third-party vendor management. So there's a ton of items in there, that the SEC highlighted last year that they're focusing on. So I would say it's at the forefront, definitely shouldn't be forgotten about. And I know I'm not just saying that as a cyber guy, but it's definitely something that should be thought about.
And I think it happens naturally, whether it's compliance training that now will also have a cyber compliance focus, or ongoing forensic testing of the compliance program. Cyber is now a main part of our suite of services.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Is there any key takeaway as far as what clients or what our viewers can do right now? So we talked about incident response plans, business continuity plan, phishing, risk assessment. I think it's important for us to lay out, what can someone do right now before engaging a firm like ours and getting your assistance?
Yeah, 100%. If you haven't done so already internally, I would say take a big review of your whole cyber compliance program. Hopefully one exists. If it doesn't, definitely start thinking about creating one. But doing an overall review, again, of your policies and procedures. When's the last time you conducted a risk assessment? When's the last time you've done a user training? People don't realize that employees are the biggest threat to an organization. All it takes is one phishing email in an inbox, and you could have a serious problem. So, making sure your employees are aware of the risks that are out there, helping them identify those, and letting them know as well, if the incident does occur, who do they contact, who do they go to? So preparedness for users as well is highly important. So I would say before, maybe engaging a firm like us, do an internal review, take a peek under the hood, see what you have in place, and, then we can talk after that.
And one final question, as it pertains to our services specifically, I think it's important for everyone to know that we're not here to take the place of your internal IT department, your MSP, or even your chief information security officer. Can you expand on that and explain to our viewers exactly how we supplement those particular roles and positions within our client's firm?
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, we're not taking over for them. We want to work as an extension with them. We work in conjunction with them, essentially, to help identify, the things that you're doing well, the things you have in place, and the areas where we might be able to help. So, we want to work in tandem as a team. We're definitely not taking those roles over by any means. We want to work in conjunction with, your IT provider, as well as any internal compliance team or internal IT team as well.
Terrific. Mike, thank you so much for your time
Thank you.
today and introducing yourself to our audience. For more information about the cybersecurity services that Silver offers, please go to our website. You'll also find there our latest article that we published among the three of us about the topics we covered today. We were fortunate enough to be in the New York Law Journal. You can see that article on our Silver Vision blog on our website. Thank you so much.